And hello and good day. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv. We're going to get a little loud. There we go. Okay. And the only reason I did that is just to make sure that our audio is working, because, as luck would have it, the second you start up your software, hey, big software update. Here are the 25 things that are all changed from the last time you ran this software from a day ago. But so far, so good. We look good. Yes, hey. Nice lights, nice setup. All courtesy of the beautiful Jana Marie Sweetheart. So our OBS software is now updated. It looks pretty good. The audio, the visual, the meow meow is all there. And it's all looking incredibly enticing. So I thank you for being here. Several interesting things to talk about today as we try to figure out where in the world we fit in this universe. First of all, we will start with this. Now, I don't know exactly what this is. We found it at a lovely sort of Asian deli restaurant joint in New York City. It looked delightful, like a dessert. So it comes something like this, sort of orangish looking, and it's plastic, and it has an orange on top. It's not a little hat, although I could wear it as a hat. Not a bad look. Could also wear it as a clown nose. I could also use it to change my voice, so I don't need a voice modification. Now, when I first opened this, I thought that this would be filled with some kind of orange jelly, orange flavoring, something orange. It was filled with nothing. It's completely empty. Can't even really squeeze it. All right, so this is the thing. Okay. Now, we don't read Japanese, so we didn't know what it was. It looks sort of like a cake or a cupcake. And then it has a bottom thing that you peel off. And then there are three things inside of it. So I'm going to show you right now. Oh, that's weird. I'll show it to you in a minute. What was on the bottom that we peeled off. I saved it all so I could share this with you because it's a little bit of a mystery to us. We still don't know what this is. It comes with a nice little lovely bow. You could put that in your hair too. Be very attractive. Maybe even hang it off your nose. You never know. And the inside of the box is very decoratively decorated, designed, quite lovely. So it's something that looks to be important. It is an earring for the day. Not terrible. Well designed, rather attractive. Put it right there. No, it won't stay. Okay. And inside are three of these things. We don't know what this is. We do know that it's supposed to be edible. And we know that because of this. This thing here. That I guess each one of these three discs that we have three of these, are 230 calories each. One we didn't even open. We just left it like this. And I looked at this with Google Lens, which is very nice, where you can have Google look something up for you, be it an image or something you don't recognize, or a plant, and it will tell you what it is and what to do about it. And I looked this up, did a scan, and it said it was some kind of edible surprise. Okay, not much help. But now it's been a few days. So as you can see, it's now cracked and open. I took a little bite out of it and it was all waxy. Now, maybe that's the whole idea of it, is that it is wax inside. I don't know if it's a candy. I'm trying to crack I can't crack it. But I peeled off the waxy outer layer, and you may not be able to see it, a white inner layer. It just tastes like wax. I don't know what it is. I thought maybe it was soap. But when you look on the carton, it is edible. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it means. I like the little hat. If you know what it is, let me know. Now, this brings us to our next major point. How will ye let me know? Because we have some changes here. Things are going on. Now, oh boy, since I saw you last time. We finally made a difficult decision to completely disassociate ourselves with the three major media conglomerations, which are Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, Instagram, we were never very popular, but the fact that we got locked out for no reason at all by Facebook/Meta from our Instagram account made it even worse because we didn't ever post anything there. And then when they started messing with our live stream and Jan Marie's live stream and blocking it and saying that we had violated copyright by streaming the Gold Cup, or what is it? The World Cup soccer thing, audio. And they silenced and blocked our videos from being shown. And Jana's show is completely, there's no microphone. It's all in ASL and typed text. There's no outside audio. And we told Facebook that, and they didn't care. And the next day they blocked me. And I told them, look, I don't use music. I don't show videos. I don't do anything on my live stream except me. It's me and my ugly face and my very beautiful voice. And I said, can you please stop blocking our live stream and unblock the two videos that you blocked? And they won't even respond. You have nowhere to go to get help. They just ignore you. And you start wondering, what do you do for us? For all these millions of people who create content for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we get nothing out of it. Oh, it's a free service. Yeah, a free service that they can cut you off of for no reason whatsoever, just because they feel like it, which is fine. We get it now. There's no loyalty going back and forth either way. So they think, well, you have a business and you're advertising on Facebook, and so you're going to do what we say. And a lot of people do. There are a lot of old people like us who are only on Facebook, and they like it because it's free, and they create content and they're tracked, and it's a Cambridge Analytical, look it up, big mess of lack of privacy, and it's not a great thing. So all these millions and millions of people are creating trackable content for the Facebook. And Facebook treats people terribly. And you can just do a Google search for I've lost my Facebook account. Go onto Reddit. In Facebook, do a search. How do I get access to Instagram? How do I get access to Facebook? I was cut off. I did nothing wrong. And then Twitter, what's going on with Elon Musk, how it's now become this right-wing MAGA pit of despair is just grotesque. And the longer you stay there, creating content for Elon Musk that he then sells to other people, well, you're part of the problem. So it's been a struggle, because so the past, month or so since all of this started going down, we have distanced ourselves from Instagram and Facebook and Twitter by not really posting any new content. And if we did post something, we stopped altogether on Instagram and Facebook, but we were still posting every once in a while from post.news, a link, just to kind of keep the site alive, our account alive. Because on Facebook, you can deactivate your account, which means it's not deleted, it's deactivated, and you can go in there and reactivate it anytime you like. Because you don't want to lose control of your username, because there are bad people out there who would come in and use your username and pretend to be you and cause all kind of trouble. Now, Twitter, it's different. You can deactivate for like 10 days or 30 days, but then there's the threat that you will lose your username and they'll give it to somebody else so they can, become verified by buying Twitter Blue and become you on the internet and, ruin your good name. So with Twitter, you can't really deactivate. Twitter, what you do is you make your account private, so new people can't find you, and any public links that you had available are privatized. So if you had a link, which I did, to your Twitter content, it is no longer available. Now, luckily, people know that Twitter tends to cut off people a lot, so when you embed something, you don't lose it entirely with Twitter. You get the remnants of the text that was provided to Twitter, which is actually fine. Now, when you deactivate on Facebook, and I had one embed from Facebook, well, then it just comes up blank. So that you have to delete. But it was after, seeing, we don't really use Facebook to log in places. They rely on that. We don't use Apple or anything else, or Google. We don't log in anywhere. We just log in with our email address. It's easier that way, safer that way. So if you decide to leave or close your account on these social media accounts, you don't lose access somewhere else. And that's what they're hoping. They hope that you will use your Facebook login for everything on the internet so they can track you. And then if you decide to close or deactivate your account, well, then you're stuck because you can't log into all the other places that are not Facebook. We never fell for that, luckily. So on Twitter, if you're looking to chat with me or send me a DM, I'm not there. On Facebook, if you're looking for our page or to send us a message on Messenger, we're not there. Instagram, who cares? It's all dying anyway. So I wrote an article that I published yesterday on bowlesblogs.com that I will share with you right now, entitled thusly, Bowls.xyz, which is our new website that goes right to our Mastodon instance. Post.news and PixelFed are the new social media. And so this is where I kind of go over what we did, why we got rid of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, why we don't want to have anything to do with any of them anymore. And here are a couple of previously broadcast podcasts based on the audio stream, this Bowls TV live stream. Going federated, getting rid of Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Yes. And copyright trolls and DMCA takedown notices. That's the World Cup thing. And so here we go. Yeah, all of this, right? Explaining why we're moving. Now, for me, this is post.news. My username is @DavidBowles. For me, this is the Twitter sort of replacement. And it's big business. They have a lot of venture capital money. They want to be really a replacement for Twitter. They want to bring over all the journalists, all the news organizations, put them on post.news, and have you pay an access fee, a tip fee, a payments fee of pennies, 50 cents, $1, whatever it is, to access content on their website. Which is okay, But really, Post.news has the same problem that Twitter does, that it's, run by one guy, and what he says goes, and if you violate, then you're out. And there are other social media ventures that are popping up, but they're all run by one person. So it's sort of the Elon Musk problem all over again. If the main guy decides he doesn't like you or you violate some unknown rule or content, well, then you're punished. And you're taken off the air. The internet, their service. So this is Post.news, and it's okay, very easy to use. It's very attractive for people who used to be on Twitter because it behaves the same way sort of that Twitter does. There are likes, you can retweet, I don't think they call it that, what's it called? Posts, replies, what is this called? This thing. Reblog, I don't know what it is, but it's this thing. And you can tip somebody, you can give a thumbs up. And as I've said in the past, cats are very popular on the internet. When you talk about intellectual smart things, not so much. People don't care. Here's the article I wrote yesterday about alcohol and exercise. David Bowles bells, yeah? And one like. Stupid thing about snowcats, 27 likes. It's soul-crushing. But you do what you got to do. So this is the replacement that I'm using, if you can call it a replacement, for Twitter. This is PixelFed. I believe they're currently being litigated, sued, whatever the term is, by Instagram for somehow imitating filters that they're using. I don't know. But PixelFed is sort of the Instagram replacement. And it's all based really on images, which is just like Instagram. And this is federated, meaning that you can have your own instance, run it on your own server, and no one can mess with you. You can post whatever you want to post. And here's some examples of things that I've been posting. Yes, there are a lot of cats involved, and that's okay. Now this is Bowles.xyz that I speak with you previously about. This is our localized hosted Mastodon instance. And right now it's just me and the Jan Marie on this server. And you post updates, sort of like Facebook, sort of like Twitter, and images, and you connect with people and you chat with them. Hey, it's Artist Dora. Good morning, Artist Dora. Nice to see you. We're just going over why we're no longer on Twitter at all and why we are no longer on Facebook or Instagram. We have now gone federated with PixelFed and Mastodon, which is found in Bowles.xyz, and also Post.news. So no more DMs on Twitter. We don't answer them because we closed our account. It's still there, but it's privatized and we're not checking it. Because average daily users, ADU is how Elon Musk makes his money on advertisement, and we're not going to be a part of that anymore. So this is our situation with where we are and how we are. So you can meet us here, or, as I've always said, you can find us on our Discord server. Want to send a message, send a DM, it's all there, and it's all ready, and everything we're saying here in chat is being broadcast live to our Discord server, and all our links that we discussed today appear on our Discord server after the show. This is the article I wrote yesterday about alcohol and exercise on bowlesbells.com. Very interesting stuff from a wide variety of sources, including ChatGPT, that alcohol is just terrible for you. And what a lot of people don't understand is that alcohol is, to the body, a poison. And that feeling of being drunk or high or whatever you want to call it is the process of your body trying to expel the poison that has been imbibed. So be careful out there. There's not a lot of good things coming for you. And this is, I love my AI image that I created, which is a kettlebell made out of a beer bottle. And it even has the Grolsch opening system up here, which I really love. So now I'm going to tell you a story that I've been waiting to tell you for a week or two or three or even longer. Oh, Artistora is saying something, but I'm not sure what. And that is how not to get free rent, or the free rent scam, or the what are you going to do about getting rent? Oh, thumbs up from Miss Dora. And this is a very interesting and terrible story, like your AI bottle. Oh, thank you very much. It was very fun to create. I tried it with a keg of beer. Looked okay, but it looked like a kettlebell. The bottle of beer as a kettlebell was much more successful. But, it takes you half a day to get an image that works. So the inspiration doesn't go very far. It goes a little bit, but not far enough. So the story I'm going to tell you about this free rent scam is really genius and terrible. And it makes you wonder how people are able to live with themselves when they know that they are trying to scam someone out of a lot of money. So I want to protect identities and protect the situation because I don't want anybody to get in trouble. And nobody will, because I'm going to obfuscate everything beginning right now. So this free rent scam, and as I've said before, the criminal mind, and this is criminal, the criminal mind, the genius of the criminal mind, trying to get around laws and beat people, if it could be put to good use in the world would be such a better place. But instead of using their criminal genius for goodness, they instead use their criminal genius to try to cheat the system, which is exactly what happened in this free rent scam. And it has several different layers to it, and it's all very interesting. So the first part is you have a resident who claims, now if you hear hammering, I hear hammering going on in the building. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's not coming from me. So if there's hammering in the middle of my pauses, you'll know where it's coming from. A lot of hammering. So this free rent scam demands the participation of several different kinds of people. A resident, and then in this case, a person who works in the building. And the idea is this. You order an iPhone, which can be worth, $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, depending where you get it and what it's like. You have it delivered to your home, and in big buildings, they get delivered to a package room that the building controls and scans and then notifies the resident that the package is ready for pickup. Okay, so that's an important part of this scam, is the package room. So you order an iPhone, and you do order an iPhone. That's not part of the pretending that you're ordering a... No. That's part of it. And there are stories of iPhones being stolen by delivery people. The packages are opened and a rock is put in. I don't know if they're myths. It's never happened to us, luckily, but I guess it does happen. So you order an iPhone, a $2,500 iPhone, and you have it sent. It is scanned as delivered. And then you go down to collect your iPhone, and it can't be found. And so you file a complaint with the management office saying, my iPhone was stolen from the mailroom. And the management office, of course, is in a panic because it's bad for business. If this happened the way it happened, they're going to lose $2,500, which is sort of a month's rent. And then, if the scam works, management investigates. They don't know what happened. They put a tracer on it. It was delivered. It was scanned by the mailroom. And then what are you going to do? Then you have to match the management company. Say, okay, well, we lost your phone, so here's $2,500 to pay your rent. And then I guess you would theoretically go order another phone, and then so you're either getting free rent or you're getting a free phone. Or in this case of this scam, you're trying to get free rent and a free phone. So that's the scenario of how this is supposed to work out in the criminal mind. Now, here's what really happened. The iPhone was ordered. The iPhone was delivered. Oh, it's a diabolical scheme, Artist Dora says. Oh, yes. And we're just getting started. And the iPhone is being sent. So the resident surreptitiously made contact with a new person working in the mailroom who works for the building and made some kind of deal, which was never very clear, but it must have been for like $200-300. And together, the resident and the person who worked in this building made a deal that when this iPhone was delivered, the employee would scan the phone, so it's in the system as being delivered and processed by the building, so it's the building's fault if it doesn't get delivered to the resident. And then, after scanning, the worker would hide the phone. Now, that is how I've talked about this before, how the front desk punishes residents that they don't like in a big building. Is not that they do all of that, but they can delay your package by not scanning it right away or by hiding it so it can't be found for a day or two as we look for it. But in this case, very purposeful. The iPhone was scanned and then hidden by the worker. And then the worker notified the resident, I have the phone, I've scanned it, go down and try to pick it up. So the resident, now play acting, goes down to the front desk, says, hello, I'm here to pick up my $2,500 iPhone. And the front desk says, of course, go back, look, come back, terrified, there is no phone. And the resident, pretending, acting, says, but look, I have proof of delivery. It was scanned by this person. And it was actually scanned when you work at a building, you log in and your name is on the scan. And part of this scam was the scammer who worked in the building was logged in under the name of a different person, which happens a lot. If you don't log yourself out, someone knows your code. I can't remember my code. Oh, just scanned under my name. It's a big mess. Well, this person scanned my phone. And the person is there and said, I don't remember scanning your phone, but it's not here. I don't have it. We'll look for it. Okay, so day passes, 2 days pass, 3 days pass. The resident keeps going down. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? We don't know. We can't find it, but it was scanned by this person we know, has no memory of scanning it. We don't know what to do. So the resident then goes to the management company and says, my phone was stolen by one of your employees, and this is that person's name because they scanned it. And an investigation is launched and interrogations are had. Where is the phone? I don't know where the phone is. I don't have the phone. Has the phone been activated? We don't know. Nobody knows anything. And the management company says, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We're going to have to pay We have to waive $2,500 of rent. Resident will get free rent. What can we do? It's the only way we can make up the resident who is now out $2,500. But the resident is not out $2,500 because after the scan that the employee made under the name of another employee, took the box with the phone, notified the resident to give the resident the phone in exchange for money. And what they did is they went to a nearby store during the lunch break of the worker, 3 days after all this was happening. And they met on the street. And the resident handed over $300 to the new employee, who then handed the resident the phone, and they went their separate ways, and the resident went home with the new phone, still reporting it as missing, trying to get $2,500 out of the management company, and the rogue employee walking away back to work, the front desk, the mail room, the package room, after a lunch break. End of story. No, it's not the end of the story. The story is now just beginning. Because, believe it or not, the employee that was getting blamed for the scan and, by inference, the stealing of the iPhone was a longtime employee who was not terribly bright, was a good and wonderful person who never got in trouble with anybody. So if she or he says, I didn't scan that package, it has a little bit of weight to it compared to the new hire who's a little shifty and has already gotten in trouble with several residents, who says, oh, I don't know what happened. I looked for the couldn't find it. But here's the catch. And this is where it was very, very lucky. This building is a new building, and all over the building, in all the public areas, the exercise room, the hallways, the front desk, out back, the trash room, all have high definition casino cameras. That's what they call them, casino cameras. And they're all on 24 hours a day. And they're all being recorded into the cloud. And I've seen management go in and check on a delivery that I lost that was being hidden by one of the residents by one of the package workers 2 or 3 years ago, proving that it was delivered and that I was right and she had hidden my box. Put that aside, the casino camera, and that's why they call them casino cameras, is because you can zoom in and zoom out like they do in the Las Vegas casinos. You can be high up, you can go anywhere in the area, you can zoom in on people holding cards. It's that crisp. And you don't have to zoom in live to get the shot. You can zoom in on the cards days later. Well, what it seems that nobody knew, except for the management company, is that casino cameras are not just inside the building. Casino cameras are outside the building as well, looking at public spaces that the building is responsible for, the garage entrances, the delivery entrances, perhaps with the right angle, you could see across the street into the neighborhood to see if there was anything going on, or a rogue person approaching, or a truck making the wrong sort of delivery. Or in this case, you just happened to catch on a casino camera the exchange of an iPhone and $300 being made on a street corner right across from the building on the workers' lunch break. And with that kind of evidence, and think how they must have figured out through all the hours and days that had passed from when this box was allegedly lost to when they figured out where the box was. That's hours and hours and hours and hours of video that you have to figure out. Now, I think they had a sense of who the rogue person was. And I think they had a sense that when that rogue person left the building and then came back, logging it as they do, then you sort of know, okay, where is this person going for lunch? Let's see if we can follow this person and see where they go. And that's what they did. So they very calmly called in both people, the resident, the lying criminal genius mind resident, and the rogue worker who scanned a package under someone else's name and then stole it. And management said, look, you're fired. You stole from us. You stole from a resident. And resident, pack your things and go. You're a criminal. You lied to us. We tried to help you. And it was all a scam from the beginning. Get out. So sometimes morality wins. Sometimes good people can come through and find their way home. But a story like that really makes you very nervous as a resident, as a new worker, because this person who was falsely accused was very upset. And that person said from the very beginning, I never scanned anything. I'm not even sure if I was in the package room at that time it was being scanned. I didn't do it. But all the evidence pointed to that person being guilty. And what kind of person would do that? Would scan a package under someone else's name and then take the package and give it to the resident who was getting free rent or a free iPhone, minus $300. So sometimes things work out in the world. Sometimes you can look up and say, oh my goodness, life is better than we wanted it to be. Artist Dora says cameras are everywhere. How could they not think of that possibility? That is the most interesting thing from this whole scam. And I don't want to talk about how you could defeat and make this scam work, but I mean, there are criminal minds who are smarter than I who probably already figured it out. One is you do the exchange inside the apartment of the resident because there are no cameras in there. Who would know it? You'd never know. Or just go another block or two in a corner, in an alley, and do the exchange there. Or go 3 blocks up. I'm going to leave this bag with your phone in it by this tree. You go pick it up. You pin an envelope with the money in it. I'll pick it up and go in this way. No one would know. But it was hubris that beat them. They thought they'd outsmarted the system, and the management knew that this was going to happen. They knew something was fishy, so I think they kind of played along. I think management said, okay, yeah, we'll give you, we'll give you free rent, and maybe we'll even buy you a free iPhone, just so as an apology. So everybody felt, oh, we got to wait. Okay, time to put the curtains down. Now we can relax. Let's meet across the street, do a fast exchange. Done, finished, we win. Sometimes the good guys know how to set up the bad guys. And that's what makes a great story. So you got to be careful out there. Big scams everywhere. Everybody wants to get something for nothing. But boy, what a lot of energy and effort and brain power they had to put into that story just to get nothing in the end. And to get thrown out and lose your security deposit. And this new person who had been working for, a month or two gave up a whole career for $300. It's a real pity. And now we come to our final story of the day, Islamophobia and the university. And I'll tell you right now, this story is very upsetting to me. Because it really is a setup and a scam of a different sort. And I don't care if the intentions are right on the side of the complainer, the result is very nasty. And it all has to do with the Prophet Muhammad. And how an art class at a university, a professor warned the class, this is an art class, we're going to show religious photographs, drawings, images. One of them is going to be of the Prophet Muhammad. If you're uncomfortable or you don't like it, you don't have to come to class that day. You don't have to be here. We'll just let it go. It's not going to be punished, but I'm letting you know that this is part of the class. And so students who want to be offended and want to cause trouble stayed and watched as the Prophet Muhammad was demonstrated 3 times in drawings, elementary sort of looking drawings. They decided they were offended, and they accused the teacher of purposefully offending them, and they went to the administration and got the teacher in trouble and fired. Shocking, but is it? Erica Lopez Prater, an adjunct professor at Hamline University, said she knew many Muslims had deeply held beliefs that prohibit depictions of the Prophet Muhammad. So last semester, for a global art history class, she took many precautions before showing a 14th century painting of Islam's founder. Now, it's not a photograph. It's an imagining. It's not the real prophet. It's an artist's rendering of the prophet, which I guess is just as offensive. Now, I have Jewish friends, some who are very deeply religious, who will not spell the word G-O-D in an email or a text, and they will not say the word G-O-D out loud. Which is sort of the same sort of thing as this, but they tend not to try to get other people in trouble for their beliefs. In the syllabus, the instructor warned images of holy figures, including the Prophet Muhammad and Buddha, would be shown in the course. Now, nobody has a photograph of Buddha. They're all drawings. They're all artistic renderings. And I guess you could say there are people who get upset, oh, you're burning the American flag. Well, the American flag, Old Glory, is hanging in the Smithsonian. I'm not burning Old Glory. What's being burned is a representation of what Old Glory is. But still, there are people in America right now today who want flag burning to be a crime. The instructor asked students to contact her with any concerns, and she said no one did. So this instructor from day one was very, very careful, and it blew up in her face. In class, the instructor prepared students, telling them that in a few minutes, the painting would be displayed of the Prophet Muhammad in case anyone wanted to leave. Then the professor showed the image and lost her teaching gig. Officials at Hamline, a small private university in St. Paul, Minnesota, with 1,800 undergraduate students, tried to douse what they feared would become a major fire. Instead, they ended up what they had tried to avoid, a national controversy. Good, it's what they deserved. Cowards. Which pitted advocates of academic liberty and free speech against Muslims who believed that showing the image of Prophet Muhammad is always sacrilegious. Well, if it's always sacrilegious and you've been warned about it, that it's going to happen, why are you there? Why be a part of it unless you're a troublemaker? After Dr. Lopez Prater showed the image, a senior in the class complained to the administration. Other Muslim students not in the course supported the student, saying the class was an attack on their religion. They demanded that officials take action. Now, those are bored people. Those are people with nothing better to do than to use their religion as a cudgel to wield it against other people. Officials told Dr. Prater that her services next semester were no longer needed. Free speech groups and publications issued blistering critiques. PEN America called it one of the most egregious violations of academic freedom in recent memory. Exactly what it is. And Muslims themselves debated whether the action was Islamophobic or not. Islamophobia is fear of Muslims, fear of Islam. Dr. Lopez Prater's situation was especially precarious. She is an adjunct. We've talked about adjuncts before. They do all the filthy work and they have no protection. One of higher education's underclass of teachers, working for very little pay, hallelujah, and facing and receiving few of the workplace protections enjoyed by tenured faculty members. The school president said, "To look upon an image of the Prophet Muhammad for many Muslims is against their faith." Dr. Miller said, adding, "It's important that our Muslim students, as well as all other students, feel safe, supported, and respected both in and out of classrooms." Well, there you go, right there. This is the university statement, and right at the beginning, it's false. To look upon an image of the Prophet of Muhammad for many Muslims is against their faith. Right. So why go to class when you've been warned an image of the Prophet is going to be shown? Why expose yourself to that? Unless, of course, you're looking to make trouble. Then, of course, you'd go and you'd complain. Todd Green, who has written books about Islamophobia, said the conflict at Hamlin was tragic because administrators pitted natural allies, those concerned about stereotypes of Muslims and Islam, against one another. And I don't have the images here to show you because I don't want to get into it, but the New York Times, which is where this story is coming from, showed all three images of the Prophet Muhammad in their newspaper. And I can tell you, they're interesting. They are respectful images. They are in no way heresy. Shown regularly in art classes, the painting of Muhammad shows a winged and crowned angel Gabriel pointing at the Prophet Muhammad and delivering to him the first Quranic revelation. Muslims believe that the Quran comprises the words of Allah dictated to the Prophet Muhammad through the angel of Gabriel. The image is a masterpiece of Persian manuscript painting, said Christine Gruber, a professor of Islamic art at the University of Michigan. It is housed at the University of Edinburgh. Similar paintings have been on display at places like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and a sculpture of the Prophet is at the Supreme Court. Dr. Lopez Prater, a self-described art nerd, said she knew about the potential conflict on October 6 when she began her online lecture with 30 or so students. She said she spent a few minutes explaining why she was showing the image. Good. How different religions have depicted the divine and how standards change over time. Good. Right. That's what you're supposed to do. I do not want to present the art of Islam as something that is monolithic, she said, adding that she had been shown the image as a graduate student. She also showed a second image from the 16th century which depicted Muhammad wearing a veil. Dr. Lopez Prater said that no one in class raised a concern and there was no disrespectful commentary. But after the class, Ms. Wendalatala, a business major and president of the university's Muslim Student Association, stuck around to voice her discomfort. Immediately afterward, Dr. Lopez Prater sent an email to her department head, Allison Baker, about the encounter. She thought that Miss Wadatala might complain. Oh, and she complained, all right. She's the one who started getting her fired. Miss Wadatala did, in fact, reach out to administrators, and she declined an interview request and did not explain why she had not raised concerns before the image was shown. But in an email statement, she said, any image of Prophet Muhammad should never be displayed. And that Dr. Lopez Prater gave a trigger warning precisely because she knew such images were offensive to many Muslims. The lecture was so disturbing, she said, that she could no longer see herself in that course. What a manipulation. The university is, you go into a university, you drop all of your pretenses, all of your imaginings, all of your feelings and thoughts, and you go in and you make your mind a blank piece of paper, and you allow yourself to be written upon, and then you leave the classroom and you regather all of your things and all of your beliefs, and you compare and contrast them to what you just learned, and you accept or you deny, but that is the process of learning. The student doesn't tell the teacher what to teach, unless you're at Hamline University in Minnesota. 4 days after class, Dr. Lopez Prater was summoned to a video meeting with the dean of the College of Liberal Arts, Marcela Kostihova. Dr. Kostihova compared showing the image to using a racial epithet for black people. Absolutely ridiculous. It's very clear to me that she had not talked to any art historians, Dr. Lopez Prater said. And the administration, after meeting with the school's Muslim Student Association, would host an open and honest forum on what had happened. And so Dr. Prater was fired. You don't have to come back. And it's just absolutely, completely outrageous. We were being asked to accept without questioning that what our colleague did, teaching an Islamic art masterpiece in a class on art history after giving multiple warnings, was somehow equivalent to mosque vandalism and violence against Muslims and hate speech. I could not stand for that, said Dr. Berkson, who stood with Dr. Lopez Prater. Dr. Safi, a Duke professor, said Hamline had effectively taken sides in a debate among Muslims. Students don't have to give up their values, he added, but in some part of the educational process does call for a stepping beyond each one of our vantage points enough to know that none of us have a monopoly on the truth. And that is how Hamline University failed the students. Dora says that's too much to equate it to a racial epithet. It's just absolutely infuriatingly ridiculous. And so, how does this end? The students won? The students are bullies? Fired the professor? Professor's out of work? Hamline is now a laughing stock in academia? And these students have been empowered to do it again. And they will do it again. And I can tell you a story when I was teaching at Rutgers University. This is like 16 years ago. And I was teaching a class on theater, and as part of the class, you can't just read a play. You have to read a play and then, act out the play or bits of the play, because that's when a play lives, is being acted out. Reading a play is not the same thing. So I said, as part of this class, we're going to be reading scenes out loud together and maybe, acting them out a little bit. And there were a lot of Muslim students in the class at the university in Newark. And after the very first class, 2 Muslim students came up to me and said, "We are Muslim, and we need you to guarantee us that we will not be touched." And I was a little confused because I didn't understand what they were telling me. And I told him, I said, what do you mean touched? I don't understand. She said, well, we are Muslim and we cannot be touched by anybody, especially another man. And I said, by touch, what do you mean? And they said, no one can touch us. And I said, well, I'm very happy to make an announcement, to the class that you have strong beliefs, and please, if you're in a scene with them, don't touch them. And they said, well, we need it to be guaranteed. And I said, I don't know how I can guarantee that. I said, so if you're like getting in position, moving desks to prepare to do the scene, and, another person, a man, happens to brush against you with his elbow on, your elbow, is that considered touching? And they said, yes, that's a very deep violation of our religion. And I said, well, I can't guarantee that. I said, I can tell people, no guarantee, please don't touch them. This is what they believe. And they said, we have to drop the class because we're not going to risk our values and our religion for this class. And I said, okay, I'm sorry you have to drop the class, but you're asking me to make a guarantee that I cannot give you. And I didn't say it was irresponsible or unreasonable or ridiculous. I understood where they're coming from. They don't want to be touched. That's their value system. They are not willing to leave that at the door and come in and then leave. No. And they did. They dropped the class. They never came back. And I just wondered, how do they live their life every day? In Newark, New York City, on a bus, on a subway, very crowded rooms and alleys and street corners. How do they live their life not getting touched inadvertently by someone who has no intention to touch them? And I felt bad about that for a couple of days, but I thought, well, I don't know what I could have done that would have made them want to stay in the class. And then there was another student in class who happened to be Muslim, and she wore a head covering. And after that experience, as the class progressed, I spoke to this student. I said, are you all right? Are you worrying about being touched? And she said, no, it's fine. And we actually, as one of the final projects of the class, we wrote a little scene that was inspired by something else that we had read and written. And we were in groups, and we were all working in groups. They were all working in groups together. And this woman that I spoke to, wearing the headscarf, wrote a scene where she was actually playing a twin, a male twin. There was another person who was the female twin, and she was the male twin. And she was fine with it. And she even, as part of her role, part of her show, brought a baseball cap to class and put it on top of her headscarf. So she would look more male, is what she told me. And she looked absolutely darling and charming and fun and silly, and she used a low voice to play a male character because in that class we had a lot of females and not a lot of guys, and they wanted to have, a male role. So she said, I'll play the male role. And I'm thinking in my mind, this is a Muslim who is okay wearing a headscarf with a hat, playing a man, and doesn't seem to be concerned with being inadvertently touched by anyone in the room. So I felt refreshed by that, but still confused by the original request to never be touched, by me to guarantee that two students would never be touched. I don't know anybody anywhere who could make that guarantee. Well, that's the show today. What a wonderful time we've had. Talked about a lot of interesting things. Genius mind. The unfortunate Hamline University, Minnesota, who allows students to terrorize the faculty. But they're only adjunct faculty. They're not full-time, so who cares, right? And we talked about no-touch Muslims. Fascinating story. So, until next time, if you want to find me to chat with me, you can email me, david@bowles.tv. You can go to our Discord server. You can go to bowls.xyz, join our Mastodon server, our instance. Find me on PixelFed. You can find me on Post.news. All kinds of different places now to find me. So until next time, I wish you a good day, a wonderful time, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you for being here.